Okay, so our recording is up, and I think we are ready to get started. So Hussein, I am actually going to let you do all the talking. So um, I'll let you go ahead and get started. So thank you guys for being here. And I know we're across multiple time zones. So I'm in Thailand. It's 10 p.m. my time. Hussein is in the Maldives. It's 8 p.m. his time. And East Coast, I think you guys are 11 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. So um, thank you guys all for being here. And please give your attention to Hussein with Perfect Voyages DMC, who's going to give a lot of great information today. And again, if you guys have questions or anything, feel free to drop them in the comments and in the caption there, and I will do my best to address them. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Nick. Thank you very much. Hi, guys. Thank you very much for joining. My name is Hassan. Full name is actually Hussein Hassan. I am from the Maldives itself. I am the co-founder of Perfect Voyages. We are a DMC from the Maldives itself, and we have been working in the industry for the last 7-8 years as a DMC, accepting inbound bookings to the Maldives only. However, we all have collectively been in the industry since 2004. Started off working in the resorts of the Maldives itself, and after a long while in the industry, around 2016-17, we started Perfect Voyage Maldives in the endeavor to have a, what do you say, present Maldives in a different aspect than how it has been presented so far. So before I jump right into the what would you say presentation which I have prepared, which is like an in-depth but still concluded version of Maldives. So basically, the idea is to give you as much information as about Maldives for anyone who might have sold Maldives or who might have not. So I just wanted to quickly ask the question from amongst, I think, 25 plus participants which we have today. Has anyone so far been to the Maldives for personal holiday, or have any one of you sold a holiday to the Maldives? Just a show of hands is okay. There's no need to me put a comment on it like that. Yeah. Or Gianna has been there. And I think Tanya, if I'm not wrong, also has been here to the Maldives. Wonderful. So most of you are actually new to the destination. So that's the reason why we are having the webinar today itself. That's just to give you an idea about what the Maldives is as a destination for anyone who has not sold Maldives or who hasn't been here. So let me just quickly share my screen, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. So are you guys able to see my screen?
I can see it. Yep, I can see it on my side.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So I just wanted to start off with this little cool video, which we Maldivians have been bragging about for quite a while now. So
Are we blind? Deploy the garrison! Move! Hey! Wolves! Run!
So yeah, I hope you guys saw the video. So basically, I believe most of you guys would know it's actually Star Wars, which was actually shot here in Maldives. Pretty cool for us, and pretty cool for anyone, I think, who is a huge fan of Star Wars itself. What you see there in the background is purely Maldives, without any kind of CGI used in the background, other than the of course, the robots and the characters itself. So the beauty which you are able to kind of like comprehend or see from the background itself, the palm trees, the white beach saint on the in the video itself is actually the Maldives originally without any kind of CGI. So before I start off, you guys are able to see the screen, right?
I can still see your screen. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It's
So-
still showing the YouTube clip. I don't know if you have a different screen, but it's just showing the end of, I think, the YouTube clip there.
Oh, okay. Just let me quickly check that. Yeah, I need to present something else. You're able to see the screen now, right?
Yes, there you go. We're good.
Yeah. Okay. So today we are going to cover about Maldives destination as an overview for all travel agents and trade partners. So we are going to start off with Maldives itself. So Maldives is a tropical paradise in the Indian Ocean itself, known for its white sandy beaches, crystal clear waters, and luxurious island resorts. So we are located actually southwest of Sri Lanka and India. The Maldives consists of 26 natural atolls spread across the equator itself. We have 1,190 coral islands grouped into 26 atolls. About 170 islands are developed as resorts, but as of now, we actually have surpassed 180, close to 190 islands, which are currently, in total. So we have 20 to 30 new upcoming resorts, which are going to be opening up in the next 10 years in the Maldives itself. And 200 islands are inhabited by locals, including the local island Male itself, which is the capital city of Male. So for anyone who doesn't know what an atoll is, it's basically a ring-shaped coral reef island or series of islets surrounding a lagoon. The Maldives atolls form one of the world's largest coral reef systems. So as you can see in this picture itself, I'll just move the cursor towards Male. So this is the central of Maldives where Male is located. So this is basically the capital atoll. This whole atoll is. And right next to Male, we have the international airport where all of our international flight carriers come into. And upwards here is actually sorry, is actually the northern atolls of Maldives, and downwards of here is actually the southern atolls of Maldives. Northern atolls of Maldives are actually the ones which are closest to India. If you look at the map from Google Maps itself, so from this point onwards, actually going to India is very, very close. So what's Maldives known for? So basically, we are quite famous for the luxury resorts or water villas. So I believe, if I'm not wrong, we as a destination are the first country or the first destination who came up with the overwater villas from the whole world itself. So we have been kind of like the trendsetter in terms of so many of these things which are at the moment, which you could maybe find me in other destinations. Maldives has been me kind of like leading trendsetter who have come up with the idea of overwater villas and a few other components itself as well. So we have world-class diving and of course snorkeling, and the beaches are very wide, and we have turquoise lagoons. Maldives is very famous, and it's generally at the moment for the last, I would say, 35 to 40 years, known to the whole world as a paradise on earth, and our destination, which is specialized for honeymooners or adults. But however, Maldives is a very good destination when it comes for group travel as well, and memorable family holidays too. We have yet again another trend which we have set it in the world is our unique underwater restaurants. The first ever underwater restaurant was built in the Maldives in Conrad, Maldives, which was somewhere around 2004, 2006. And we have the first ever underwater spa as well. And of course, we have Maldives is lately for the last something like for 10 years known as a destination quite good for wellness holidays as well. So, what are the top experiences and tours which you can actually do in Maldives? So, most of the experiences. So, what someone needs to understand about Maldives is that more than 90% of Maldives is actually water, and our land is very less compared to the water which we are surrounded by. So, most of our experiences are very much in I mean, it's very much related to ocean experiences or water experiences. So, scuba diving and snorkeling safaris, something like whale shark tours, manta tours, is a very famous, experience or a tour. Of course, sunset dolphin cruises, local island cultural tours, which are normally visits which are done to local islands where people live on. And then we are quite famous for surfing and fishing charters. Fishing uh, is actually game fishing or angler fishing. We are well known for our diving, surfing, or fishing liveaboard trips, and of course, luxury yacht charters as well. Night fishing is quite common too, and romantic private experiences like private dinners on the beach, floating breakfasts, and common tours like this are quite famous or considered as top experiences to do in the Maldives. So, what are the international flights which normally come or arrive to the Maldives, right? So, Maldives is connected with major international airlines which fly on a regular basis to the Maldives. So, some major international airlines which fly to Maldives on a frequent basis are Emirates, Qatar, Turkish, Air Arabia, Sri Lankan, Etihad, British Airways, Air Asia, Singapore, Air India, Bangkok Airways. So if you take some of the common, what do we say, mm, common connecting destinations like Dubai, Qatar, Turkish. We from these destinations, Maldives is actually something like 3.5 to 4 hours away by an international flight from these destinations which I just mentioned. So are we? We are close to 4 hours away from Singapore as well. So all these major airlines which I've just told you about, like Emirates and Qatar, have the most frequency to the Maldives. So they actually have 3 to 4 flights which arrive to the Maldives on a daily basis. And most of those arrivals are from morning to the afternoon. And most of their departures from the Maldives are in the evening after 6 o'clock, starting from 7:30 or something like that onwards, up until 11:30 or 10:30 in the evening. And so when you are actually choosing, I haven't actually included this in the presentation, but when you're choosing a flight to, to book a holiday for yourself or for a client, it's actually quite important to understand or know that the best is to get an arrival flight which arrives to the Maldives in the morning, and then get a departure flight which actually departs from Maldives in the evening. So in that way, you are able to maximize the whole stay as much as possible, because, as I said, all of our most of our country is water, and islands is actually 1190 islands. It's actually scattered throughout throughout the country itself. So I'll just show you the map once again. So if you arrive here to the capital city, you will be taking a transfer, which will be either a speedboat transfer, seaplane transfer, or a domestic airline transfer from here all the way to the resorts which are located in these different atolls, which you can see. So it takes quite some time, and then there is a bit of a waiting time as well. So considering that, actually the best is to have an arrival flight which arrives to the Maldives as early as possible in the day, and have a departure flight booked in the evening after 6 o'clock. So you can actually get to stay in the resort as long as possible on your departure date as well. So weather and transfer options and costs. So Maldives has actually two main seasons. We are an exotic country, like I said in the beginning. So our dry season actually runs from January to April. It's actually quite short. And the wet season actually runs from May to December. So most of so 8 months we have the wet season, and 4 months we actually have the dry season. The average temperature in the Maldives is around 30 to 32 degrees Celsius. Maldives is a tropic country with high humidity. But what I would like to highlight is that even though whether we have a long wet season in the Maldives, it does not mean it's going to be continuously raining always, throughout the wet season itself. So how normally we have rain showers spread across the Maldives. There could be days where during the wet season where we have rainfall occurring throughout the whole Maldives, or it could be a bad weather in the southern atolls of the Maldives, while the central and the northern atoll could be totally clear. And the rain showers do not occur throughout the whole day, but it could be something like it could rain late in the night, which is actually a good is like a blessing in disguise to have rain coming in the late evening, in midnight. It helps you get a good sleep. In my personal experience, that is, it could rain very heavily in the late night, but it could be sunny during the whole day. It could rain in the morning, and then it could be sunny in the rest of the afternoon throughout the whole day. It could be sunny in the morning, or it could just rain in the afternoon and then be raining in the evening as well. It could sometimes continue for 2 or 3 days like this, in how I have explained, but most of the times it does not prolong for a long time. So during this wet season of this year, the longest of bad weather which we have experienced so far has been 2 times. One is actually during this October, which has been quite the weather has not been that favorable. So for a week or 10 days at the early beginning of October, it was quite rainy, and it was very windy itself. And then early on during June also, we experienced a week or something like that. But except for that, the rest of the year has been very, very good in terms of clear weathers, sunny skies, and dry and enjoyable weather for everyone who has come to the Maldives so far. So I'll jump into the transfer options, which I have just explained to you. After you arrive to the Maldives, you actually you will be greeted by the airport representatives of the DMCs which you book your holiday through, and of course by the airport representatives of the selective resorts which you have booked for your client stay. So there are actually 3 main modes of transfer. The first option is speedboat transfers. So speedboat transfers are provided to the resorts which are located in Malay Atoll only in most cases. So it's located it's actually provided for Malato because once you arrive to the airport, the resorts or the islands in Malato, the furthest which you have to travel to reach to the furthest resort is one and only Retira, which is roughly 55 minutes away by their luxury yacht charters. Sorry, luxury yacht transfers. So that's the furthest which you are, the longest time in terms of reaching a certain resort in Malato. Most of the resorts in Malato can be reached within 30 to 40 minutes by speedboat. So for this distance, taking a seaplane is actually very short. So sometimes it would not be enough for the seaplane to just take off and then land. It is just that close in terms of if you compare to go with the speedboat and seaplane for the resorts in Malato. However, the luxury resorts like World of Astoria, Maldives, one and only Retira, Ritz-Carlton Maldives, which are located in Maldives, provides the option of private hire of a seaplane if a client wants to have that option or have that experience. But most of the time, these resorts actually have their own yacht or luxury speedboat transfers. So most of the clients it's very rarely a case where we have seen someone or a client choosing a seaplane for Malato resort. So the next option is the seaplane transfers. So seaplanes are basically, as you can see in the background of this photo as well, it's the aircrafts which actually takes off and lands in the sea itself. So these are actually what do you say? This is the most common mode of transfer which you can be get to most of the resorts in the Maldives. So outside of Malato, in order to reach any of the resorts which are located in the most furthest part of northern atolls or the southern atolls, mostly seaplanes are used. So to give an example of the furthest resort the seaplane option is provided is to the newly opened Sonewa Secret, which is located in the very far end of North Maldives. So it takes roughly something like 60 minutes per way to reach by seaplane to this certain resort, which I just mentioned about. But in most cases, for the most of resorts, the seaplane transfer timing is something like between 20 to 45 minutes by seaplane to most of the resorts where seaplane service is provided to. And one thing which you need to note about seaplane is that seaplane is provided only during daylight hours. So the seaplane services starts very early in the morning, around 5:30 to 6 in the mornings, and it actually stops its service by 5:36, which is normally the sunset hours. So after dark hours, the seaplane actually does not operate. So if a client is booked to a resort where seaplane transfers are provided, normally if the client arrives in the evening, they will have to take the option of booking a hotel in Male or in Hulu Male in that case, so that they can spend that evening, and then next day early morning they will be transferred to the resort. And the third option is domestic flights. So domestic flights is basically, as you see in most of the countries, is the domestic airlines which are used to travel from one city to the other. So domestic airline, if you take the domestic airline option, it's actually provided to the most southern atolls and most of the northern atolls only. So these are flights which are provided on a scheduled basis. So the waiting time could be a bit longer when it comes for domestic flights compared to seaplane and compared to speedboat. The positive part about a speedboat is that you can actually be able to get the speedboat transfer even if you arrive very late in the evening, and that's a common trait or common denominator with domestic flights as well. So if you arrive not very late in the evening, but if you arrive by, let's say, something like 9 o'clock in the evening itself as well, most of the time you'll be able to get a domestic flight for the resorts where domestic flights are provided. So with domestic flights, we actually fly from the international airport and then reach the domestic airport in the more southern atolls like Addu Atoll or Garf Alif Atoll. And then from that domestic flight, the resorts will collect you by a speedboat. So it's a combination of domestic flight plus speedboat. Does anyone have a question so far?
So I know, oops, I am not muted on my phone here. Sorry.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Most agents, so for those of you that are here, and if you're not paying super close attention, if you're having to multitask, this is like the most important topic that everyone wants to know about, which is logistics of getting there, right? This isn't like going to Cancun or, Puerto Vallarta or the Dominican Republic where you just show up, right? And you take a land transfer, right? The logistics here are very different because there's over 1,000 islands. So if you guys are still here, take a screenshot of this. If you have a moment, I would definitely recommend doing that really quickly, because most of you also don't understand the cost implications, and clients sometimes throw a fit when they realize that, you booked this great resort and you got their flights to Male, right, the international airport, but the actual now getting to the resort and the island that they're on is typically an additional expense. It's usually not included with most resorts here. So if you guys, what I would suggest, take a screenshot of this while we're still here on the screen. So you have something in your notes as a reference point to talk about with your clients, especially when you're qualifying them. So if you have clients that are asking for Maldives or South Pacific and they're not sure which one they want to go with, you can at least now kind of give them a ballpark idea of what prices will be. So most people don't share this information. So this is kind of insider intel. So this is really why we wanted to do this presentation, so you guys can be more empowered and educated on this, right, from the advisor standpoint. So take a screenshot, add this to your notes. This is super, super helpful if you ask me. So I just wanted to just jump in real quick and share that. So if you guys are not, if you guys are multitasking, just come back for a second and definitely grab a screenshot of the screen, because this is super, super important.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you, Hussein. This is good stuff. So I'm gonna mute my line again.
Yeah, no, it's not. So one other thing which I wanted to mention is that as a DMC or as someone who books holiday to the Maldives, what you need to understand is in comparison or what differentiates Maldives when it comes to the transfer option is that you actually cannot book the transfers separately by yourself to any resorts in the Maldives. So when you are doing the booking itself, the transfers will be arranged by the resort itself. Nobody else can actually do that. So the transfers would be, even though if I have mentioned the prices of the transfers here, there's just a ballpark figure, an average, just to give you guys an idea about how the transfers ranges from one resort to the other, which actually depends on distance of the resort, location of the resort, and most importantly the star rating of the resort, and of course the volume of clients which arrive and depart to the resort. So that's also something which actually kind of like dictates on the seaplane or speedboat or domestic flights pricing as well. So it's not independent. There is not a service which can be booked independently. For example, a client might have booked their holiday through booking.com or any other platform for that, for the argument's sake. So if a client reaches out to book the seaplanes, you will not be, or we will not be able to arrange that, because booking.com clients for them, they will have to provide the seaplane, or sorry, the international transfer flight details throughout. I mean, before their arrival to the resort. So that's me through an email or something like that. Through the OTA. So based on that, the resort would arrange the transfers for them, which will be paid by them upon arrival, which will not most of the time be included in the prices which you see online itself. So that's a very key information which uh, a lot of the clients or a lot of the agents are not aware about. So I just wanted to highlight that for you guys. So I'll quickly move on to the next. I just wanted to show you guys three different photos. So as you can see, the first one is a speedboat. Below that is a domestic airline. So a domestic airline or domestic aircraft, mostly in Maldives, these aircrafts are big enough to carry something somewhere around 55 to 70 passengers to me with an aircraft like this. And then we have the seaplane or on the right side of the screen. So the seaplane is the seaplane has a maximum capacity of 14 packs. So the luggages and everything actually goes along with this. So there could be times when a client arrives me to Maldives, and the only way to reach the resort is a seaplane. Some of their luggages might be bumped to the next seaplane flight which goes to the resort, but it's nothing to worry about. It doesn't happen often, but even if that happens, it does not mean that the luggage is going to stay back for the next day. It's going to go to that resort on the same day via another seaplane. So once the client, I mean, before the client actually departs, the client will be informed of this change before they leave the airport itself to go to the resort. And once they go to the resort, the hotel staff will handle the rest of the logistics required to get the luggage to the resort, and then take it to the client's room itself.
Hussein, just to confirm, so if the client is taking the seaplane, the luggage may not go with them on that same aircraft. It might just get sent like later that day on the next plane.
Yeah, but it does not happen every time. It does, like I said, it does not happen every time. So the thing is that the seaplane has a certain weight which it can carry, right? So the weight is balanced with the fuel and, of course, including the crew itself. And then with the balance weight which is left for the aircraft's maximum weight, the captain will actually decide whether they will need to offload any luggage or offload any of the passengers or on the seaplane to the next flight. So it does not happen often. It happens every now and then, only during the high season, but the waiting time is not that long for the luggage to arrive, because the frequency is very high during what's this called during the high season. So on an average throughout the year, the seaplane actually carries 5,000 people per way. So that's arrival and departures per way. So both ways is actually something like 10,000. So most of these seaplane transfers happens during the high season itself. So you can imagine that we all of the resorts will have a very high frequency of flights. So let's say, for example, a client arrives by 7:20 Emirates, which lands in the morning, and maybe one of their luggage is left behind. So once they arrive 7:20 in the morning, by the time they're able to clear immigration and everything, it will take maybe roughly 1.5 hours to get out of there, because it's the rush hour, is the busiest hour of the day. And their seaplane timing could be 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning, or it could be 10:30, 11 o'clock, depends on the resort itself. And the luggage might not go with the clients, not all the luggages, it could be just one luggage piece, but that luggage piece could arrive to the airport, to the resort, maybe an hour later, maybe 2 hours later. It doesn't take that long. But whichever changes happens like that, the resort's airport representative will be informing the clients beforehand, before they before they actually fly. Is that clear?
Yes, that's super helpful. So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for,
No,
for
no worries, no worries.
going into detail. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. So yeah, let's jump into the Maldives seasons, marine lives, and house reef insights. So one important topic up is the house reefs of Maldives. So Maldives has like a tropical destination with unique marine biodiversity. So it's an year-round Maldives and is an year-round destination. It does not mean that we have, we might have few changes to the underwater, biodiversity in the Maldives depending on the season. But Maldives is a throughout, destination when it comes to spotting of whale sharks, manta rays, tiger sharks, and different types of other underwater biodiversities as well. So understanding seasons and marine highlights helps agents match clients to the best travel periods. So the high season, like I said, sorry, the high season in Maldives is normally November to April, but the dry northeast monsoon or Irua in Maldives is actually January to April, which falls under the high season. So in the high season, the skies are clear, high visibility underwater, the seas are very calm, abundant sunshine. So during the high season, December to April, it's very, very ideal for luxury holiday makers, divers, and of course honeymooners, and we are for group travels as well, or for families which are traveling together. It could be multi-generational families which are traveling together as well. So it's a very ideal season for. It's just a ballpark, idea just to give you guys an idea. And during the high season, we actually get the peak season in Maldives as well. So the peak season in Maldives is normally starting around 19th or 20th of December, and then comes to an end around 9 to 11th of January. So during the peak season, we get the Christmas Eve and then New Year's Eve, and then the those two holidays. So is these the highest demand in terms of throughout the year? These actually consider the peak season in Maldives. So low season actually runs from May to December. So that's what we call as Hulangu or southwest monsoon. So we have occasional rain, humidity, strong winds. So when I say occasional rain, strong winds, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Uh, Whatever climate change that's been occurring in the world, Maldives also has been suffering with that changes. So compared to the strong winds which we experienced something like, I'd say, maybe 10 to 15 years ago, uh, these days or these few 2 to 3 years, the winds have been very, very strong, I mean, unlike any kind of winds which we have experienced. But those are on the days where the weather gets bad, but it does not mean that it's it happens throughout the whole day, or it happens throughout the southwest monsoon from May to December continuously. No, it does not happen like that. But I just wanted to give you an honest and clear idea of the changes which we have experienced so far as well. So low season is actually very good for surfers because it has great surf swells, which is normally from March to September or to October. So Maldives is a famous surfing destination as well. So USA has a huge surfing community, and normally in Maldives, most of the surf spots which are spread out throughout the Maldives are have swells which actually rises, or waves which has the length or the height of something like 4 to 6 feet on an average, which is considered as a very good height for a surfer who is at a level of intermediate or to expert. So there are some days or some spots throughout the surfing season where surf swells of surf, the waves have been higher than 10 or 12 feet, but it's not that common. And a low season is actually very good for clients who are looking to book something to the Maldives or on a more economical budget, because the rates, of course, are lower. And then when you combine it with any kind of existing offers, or maybe any last minute offers, the total package deal actually becomes really attractive for a traveler who would like to, choose to travel to Maldives to maybe have their honeymoon or celebrate their birthday, or just tick it off as a bucket list destination. It's a really good season as well. So what are the marine life highlights? So the marine life highlights of Maldives are whale sharks, which is the largest fish in the ocean. So whale sharks are normally something which can be very easily spotted in Alif Atoll, which is South Ari Atoll as well. So it's something which can be spotted throughout the year. And whale sharks can be spotted in the northern atoll of Ba Atoll as well. And whale sharks can be spotted in some cases in places like Thai Atoll as well. But the most common area to be able to snorkel with a whale shark, as you can see in the picture which I have in this slide in the background, is in Ari Atoll, where you can actually swim with them, snorkel with them throughout the year if you choose to be in a resort in Ari Atoll. So these are gentle giants, perfect for snorkeling and diving, as you can see. But most of the time, when for a diver as well, they don't choose to dive for a whale shark, but rather than snorkel with them. And we have manta rays as well, seen normally throughout the year in different atolls. But the hotspot is actually Hanifaro Bay and Adu Atoll. Hanifaro Bay Biosphere Reserve is actually the most common place, and the feeding season or the breeding season is August, September, and October, which falls during the low season. So May to November is a good season or a good time to kind of like be able to spot the manta rays, mainly around this area. But we have other atolls or other places where we can actually spot the manta rays. So manta rays actually grows really, really big. So we have seen manta rays which are something like 6 feet, 10 feet, big, long, or which has the wing or width as well. And yes, we have tiger sharks as well. So for anyone who has a fear of sharks, what I would like to tell you is sharks are not dangerous. It's quite friendly and gentle, underwater species. And even though it's not harmful or it's not a dangerous thing to do, we never ever let you guys, let a client go for a snorkel or a dive without the assistance of a proper dive guide. So when you are able to dive with these gentle beauties, a dive guide will be present, and then the whole crew also will be present. So the tiger sharks are actually seen throughout the year in the Maldives at the moment. So the number one hotspot for tiger sharks is Formula. It's located in deep south, and it's located. The other location is outside of Hulumale. So Hulumale, the tiger shark point is called Neru Point. So that's actually the Hulumale point is something like 20 to 25 minutes away from the international airport which you arrive to. And other marine encounters very common in Maldives are sea turtles, reef sharks, dolphins, colorful coral fish, hammerhead sharks, dolphin watching cruises across atolls. So I think one or two slides back, I mentioned the importance of a house reef. So key concept why house reefs matter. So a coral reef located within swimming or snorkeling distance from the resort. A lot of resorts have house reef, and different islands have different type of coral reefs. Some have live coral and colors, and some are only fish. Some are live coral and fish. So basically, a house reef is the reef which you have in swimming or snorkeling distance from the resort. So in Maldives, the 170 or 180 plus operational resorts which you have in the Maldives, each resort is a separate island itself. There is no other resort sharing in one island. So one island, one resort is the main concept in Maldives, which has been going on for the last 50 plus years, and it's going to remain the same like that. So the reef itself, which is located within swimming distance, so I'm talking about maybe something like 5 or 7 minutes away from the beach itself, is considered as a house reef for a resort. So often accessed directly from the beach, or maybe a jetty which is located over water. Having a house reef means easy marine access without boat trips. For guests who wish to swim from villa to house reef for snorkeling, some house reefs are close to the beach, around 20 to 30 meters away, and some a bit far away, around 100 meters in some cases. But that's very rare. But normally it's like 20, 30, 40 meters away from the beach itself. So resorts which do not have a house reefs arrange snorkeling for guests via a scheduled boat trip on a daily basis, which is free of charge in most of the resorts nowadays. But there are resorts which actually charge for this as well. And then you have the option of private hire of a boat trip to be able to go to the closest reef, so that you can have a snorkeling session with yourself or maybe your partner or your family. So having a house reef actually kind of like determines what you are able to do for a charge, or what you are able to do with by paying. So for anyone who comes to Maldives, snorkeling is very common. Everybody enjoys snorkeling. So that's something actually which you can do right after waking up, before me going for breakfast. It's like a good exercise, and you are able to enjoy it as well. So for a resort which has a house reef located very close by, it's something you can do by yourself for free. But if house reef is not present, so that means you have to follow the schedule of a speedboat. Follow the schedule of their scheduled speedboats, which could either be chargeable or on free of charge basis, or in some resorts where they do not have scheduled boat trips, you'll have to do a private boat trip hire. So snorkeling is, like I said, very ideal for families and group of friends, or something to do by yourself as well. So it's something when you are choosing to sell to your clients, if your clients choosing their certain holiday, it's something which actually adds a lot of value and satisfaction for the client who is a good swimmer. Most of the time everyone happens to be a good swimmer or a snorkeler. And one other important point is that it actually promotes eco-conscious tourism. Healthy house reef gives life to the island, the ecosystem around the island, also protection for the island with less beach erosion. So those are some main good points surrounding why it's important to have a house reef. It does not mean that not having a house reef devalues the resort by a large portion, but having a house reef adds to a value, especially for a snorkeler or a good swimmer, for a client. So notable resorts with great house reefs in Maldives are, these are just top resorts which I'm mentioning here. It's not all the resorts. So Barras Island Resort located in Malay Atoll, Lily Beach Resort in Alif Dal Atoll, Kandalo in Alif Dal Atoll, same this Batala in Alif Dal Atoll, Alif Atoll, sorry. Kurmati Island Resort in Alif Alif Atoll, Reef Beach Resort in Ba Atoll, Digalimolis in Ra Atoll, Gurawar Island Resort in Lavianian. So impact on pricing and experience when choosing resorts with and without house reefs. Resorts with good house reefs equals premium pricing, as guests might have to pay to get to the house reefs. Sorry, it's actually without, yeah. So no reef resorts rely on paid excursions. Guests save time and cost with the direct reef access. So the examples of the resorts I have given here on the right side itself. Does anyone have a question which they would like to ask? Just
This is super important, guys. I know this might seem like school, but um, there is no other good training like this out here. So that slide we were just on is really important. So take note of this stuff. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, or if you want to unmute yourself too, that's fine. Hussein, I think we're good. I don't see anything right now.
yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll jump into the resort landscape in the Maldives. So we have over 180 plus island resorts. Each resort is one separate island itself. So as you can see in the picture, where right here, that's one resort itself. That is one and only Retira, which is a very famous luxury resort in the Maldives. The what do you say? The one of a kind resort, which actually set a certain level of benchmark, adding to the value of the luxury component of Maldives since the day they opened in Maldives, which was around the year 2004, 2005, something like that. So as you can see in the picture itself, each resort is a separate island itself. There is no other resort that's going to be sharing here with that, on that certain, island itself. And we have 30 plus international brands. So major brands like Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, Waldorf Astoria, Marriott, Hilton, Conrad, Anantara, one and only, Cheval Blanc, Soneva, Jumeirah, Six Senses, mix of are all present in Maldives. And so basically the 180 plus island resorts in the Maldives are a mix of international and boutique Maldivian owned resorts. So when we say boutique Maldivian owned resorts, what we are trying to say is it's normally resorts which does not have an international brand. So it could be a standalone resort owned by a local Maldivian, fully owned by a local Maldivian, or it could be owned by a Maldivian and a foreigner in a certain, without any named brand, but still good, very good resorts in terms of service. So in order to understand resort differences, some key differentiators are the location, of course, proximity from capital versus remote atolls outside of capital atoll. So when you're choosing an island or a resort, it's very important to understand these differences, because this could kind of like make or break for the client itself as well. So proximity from capital gives you the advantage of, like I said, you can arrive during any time of the day and get the speedboat transfers, and you are just maximum normally 30-40 minutes away from the international airport. But at the same time, uh while you get this advantage, yeah, at the same time, while you get this advantage, that is the added or disadvantage is that we have a lot of resorts in Mal Atoll because it's the capital atoll itself. So the biodiversity in Mal Atoll compared to outside of Mal Atoll is very different. The biodiversity outside of Mal Atoll is actually much better these days when compared to the capital Mal Atoll itself. And since the other atolls does not have as many resorts as we have in Mal Atoll, you are able to avoid less crowds and as well. So that's why I said it's a key thing to be able to ask this question while choosing. Of course, there are many other factors as well, but this is something which most of the time makes a break for a client who is coming to the Maldives for the first time. Depends because every dollar spent for a holiday maker is crucial for them to get the best out of it. So the reef quality, of course, is very important. House reef access for snorkeling, which is like I have earlier covered, is going to be additional for house reefs for the islands which does not have a house reef, but it does not totally throw out the fact that not having a house reef does not mean it's a bad island. You have the option of scheduled transfers where you can take which will take you to good snorkeling spots or diving spots for you to what do you say snorkeling. Yeah. And understanding the level of luxury of the resorts. So most do not understand is that Maldives does not have a star rating system. What I mean by a star rating system is that, like you have internationally in other countries, the star rating system which is followed internationally, Maldives does not have that. Maldives does not follow that so far. So the least of what do you say the least resort we when we communicate with our partners or agents is we say that it's an entry category 4-star resort in the Maldives itself. So you need to understand this difference when you are actually choosing. So we have entry level 4-star, 4-star, 4-star deluxe, entry level 5-star, 5-star, and then luxury. So the very key luxury resorts in Maldives are resorts like one and only Rithira, the Ritz-Carlton Maldives, Waldorf Astoria Maldives, Cheval Blanc, Vela Private Island, Sonewa Fushik, Sonewa Jani, Jolly Maldives, Jolly Being. Other than that, actually, other resorts are not at the same level as the luxury which we are talking about, or which we are kind of like categorizing these certain resorts in. And the resort vibe is also very important when you're actually choosing the resort vibe, as in whether it's a good resort for a family holiday or it's a adult only resort, whether we have any kind of wellness focus, where when I say adventure, whether we have when we lots of activities provided or happening on the island itself, or whether it's an all-inclusive resort. So we have few resorts in the Maldives which are adult only, and when we say adult only, it's like it's categorized by the age category itself. So most of these resorts where it's adult only, they accept clients who are 8 to 10 years and above only. So you won't see kids on these resorts. In some resorts they are like 13 years and above only as well. So these resorts are very adult focused and very viable or very good options for clients who are honeymooners or couples who want to enjoy themselves without having kids or toddlers on the resort itself. So when you are choosing a resort for family, you need to understand it has to have the family focus itself. So when you're choosing for clients, like I said above, honeymooners, the privacy of rooms is very important. A range of romantic activities for a couple to enjoy, like the kind of spa services they are provided, whether they are able to do floating breakfast in the room, whether they're able to do a shisha session in the room, or anywhere on the beach. As you can see on the right, it's set up for during the evening, right before sunset, which they have done for the couple, just to have canopies and then enjoy a glass of rosé wine. So those kind of romantic sessions or romantic activities, we need to check, whether those kind of things are possible, or those kind of services are available, so that it's memorable activities or experiences which a honeymooner or a couple can take away with them for their lifetime. So when you're choosing for family, it's very important to see or check whether they have interconnecting rooms at least, or multi-bedroom villas, kids club which are actually open for longer hours, and kids club which have a wider range of acceptance of the ages, and how well me how much of kids activities they have, whether they have a kids schedule, or on a calendar basis or not. And of course, the most important thing, babysitting services. Not all the resorts provide babysitting services, and in all the resorts, babysitting services is provided upon extra charge. But it's a service which is actually not provided in all the resorts. And for divers, reef, of course, affordability of the rooms, good diving spots nearby the island, diving marine life in the location, and during which season they are actually choosing to go. Choosing to come to the Maldives. For, for the luxury seekers, the luxury resort, how well the butler service is, whether it's sharing butler service or private butler service, is very important to know and identify whether it's a private butler service, because in almost all the resorts in the Maldives, whether you don't have a private butler service, you kind of like have this sharing concierge kind of services available. So you need to not mix up those two. And private and fine dining, how many outlets which they have, what kind of fine dining which they have, spacious rooms with attached pool, high-end amenities. When we are talking about high-end amenities, we are talking about the most high-end amenities in terms of the soaps, the shower gels, and everything which is available from the room itself, from everywhere in the resort, and the wellness activities as well. For budget resorts, entry level 4-star or 4-star plus resorts, low season for traveling, best special offers to secure depending on the season, whether it's last minute or very well in advance, or in a lot of cases, identifying the budget of the client, and whether we are able to match that budget for the resort which the client has in mind itself. So a lot of times what we have noticed is that a client could choose a certain resort, they doing their own research, and it could be out of their budget by maybe a couple of $1,000 or maybe $1,000. And if it's actually a travel during the low season, we have oftentimes been able to negotiate with the resort, and then secure that resort within the budget of the client itself, or very close to the budget of the client itself. So available meal plans and villa types. So I think unlike what you say, most of the other destinations, Maldives actually does not have room only. The starting or the base meal plans in any Maldivian resort is bed and breakfast itself. And then we have half board, which is breakfast and dinner. And then full board, which is all meals, but drinks are excluded. All meals as in breakfast, lunch and dinner. And then we have all inclusive, which is meals, drinks, and in some resorts, few of the activities are included itself. And we have all inclusive resorts also. Not all the resorts in Maldives are all inclusive. So in all inclusive resorts, the only meal type which you can get from the resort is the all inclusive meal plan. You don't have any other meal plan itself. Quickly jump into the room types which you have, or villa types. So we have beach villas, which are beach villas with or without pool, that's located right out on the beach itself. So from your room, you can actually walk onto the beach. So maybe less than a minute or two, you'll be able to reach the reach the shore itself, where the waves should be, coming up. And then we have water villas or water villas, which are located on the water itself, with or without pool. And then we have suites and residences. So suites and residences are either beach or water, multiple bedroom villas, huge in space with pool, private kitchens, and in some cases, in the most luxury resorts, that includes a nanny room as well, separately. The bedroom options are, if it's a one bedroom villa, so it's normally the maximum occupancy is something like two adults and two children max. So the age categories or where resorts consider children's are below 12 years up unto 2 years, and any child who is less than 2 years is actually considered as an infant in almost all the resorts in the Maldives. And two or three or four bedroom villas where four adults or two children, or eight adults and two children, the maximum occupancy. The biggest villas are actually 5 bedrooms to 9 bedrooms. So we don't have anything which is in between or something like it. But 9 bedrooms are we don't have multiple 9 bedrooms as well. But we have 9 bedrooms in the luxury resort, which I mentioned earlier, called Soneva. And we have, normally it's very common to have four bedrooms in luxury resorts like Cheval Blanc, World of Astoria, and other resorts which I mentioned as well. So this just to give you an idea, this is a picture of a beach villa with a pool. So for a beach villa without a pool, you can just eliminate the pool itself, and then it will be a beach villa without pool. So as you can see, you have the pool, and as you can see in the picture itself, it's very located in very close proximity to the beach. It's right on the beach, and then what you can see there is the lagoon itself. And this is what an all-water villa is basically. As you can see in the right bottom picture, it's located on a jetty. All the rooms are located on the jetty itself, and it's located on the water itself. It's not anywhere near the land, so it's far away from the land. And then you have the pool, and like similar to the beach villa, you'll just need to eliminate the pools itself, and then it's a room without a pool, a normal water villa. So if you are to be considering a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, you can just have an imagination that it's a 2-bedroom will be 2 of these rooms, whether it's all water or on the beach, and the addition would be having a a sitting room itself in the middle of the 2 rooms or maybe 3 rooms, where as a common area, and it will be much bigger than this, and the pools also will be much bigger than that. So this is just a very basic thing which I wanted to cover. So a typical inclusion in base room rate in the resort, whether it's a bed and breakfast even, is bottled water, which is actually replenished every day upon request in room. So normally when you arrive to the resort, 2 water bottles are there, and you can request as much as possible. When it comes to water, it's not chargeable, because in most of the resorts they actually produce the drinking water themselves. It could be still water or it could be sparkling water. You can actually request for either. It won't be chargeable. But the resorts will have chargeable water, like the spring water brands like Evian, and those brands. Most of the resorts actually have those brands as well present, but those are the drinking water which you have to pay for. And in all of the rooms, you will actually find tea, and an electric kettle, which you can use to boil the water and make tea, and then a machine coffee machine as well, and the coffee, which is not chargeable yet again, and it's replenished every day, the capsules. So whatever capsules which you have, you might have 8 capsules, and if you use it up, The next day they will actually put it there again. So you have the mini bar inside the room. It's chargeable if it's not all inclusive, but in an all inclusive resort, mini bar is actually included, and it's replenished once every day for the mini bar in an all inclusive resort. And of course, bedding, pillows, linen, working table, a TV, deck chairs, sofa, ashtray. Ashtrays are not located inside the room. We don't have any resort in the Maldives which is like a smoking room. So the ashtrays are actually placed out on the veranda, as you saw in the earlier pictures which I showed you. And of course slippers as in the normal slippers which you can use, and of course take back as a uh, as a memory of the resort as well. These will be slippers, branded slippers of the resorts. Beach bags, which is yet again something which you can actually take back home as a memorable gesture. And we have the wardrobe with hangers, and in most of the resort these days we actually have the ironing board and iron also present in the room. So these are not chargeable yet again, so you can use it as much as you want. But if you want to use the laundry services, all the resorts, all the rooms, they will have a linen bag, and then with the linen bag they will have a checklist of a laundry form of what you can actually do, the laundry which is covered with the prices if you are going to use the laundry services. And the room slippers is also provided as well, and shower gel, shampoo, conditioner, towels, bathrobes, comb, toothbrush, toothpaste, hand soap, sanitary napkins, shower caps, floss, floss, and all these are actually provided in the base room itself at the resort. So just wanted to give you an idea of the amenities which are provided in the room. So this something which I wanted to cover additionally as Insta Perfect Maldives, resort. So Maldives is actually home to the first ever resort to have its very own underwater restaurant, underwater spa, and underwater room. So these are a point which I want. These are few points which I wanted to cover because these are also considered as reasons which why Maldives is famous and why clients want to visit Maldives for a holiday. So Konda Drangali Island Maldives is the resort with the first ever underwater restaurant and also the first ever underwater room. So the first ever underwater room of Konda Drangali Island was built back in 2017 or 18, somewhere around there. So currently we have 6 resorts with underwater restaurant. So when it all began, it was just one resort with one underwater restaurant. Now, as of today, we have 6 resorts, starting off with Ita Underwater Restaurant in Conrad Maldives, located in Alifeto. 5.8 Undersea, located in Hurawali Maldives in Lavian Atoll. That's Northern Atoll. Sea Underwater Restaurant at Anantara Kihawa Villas, located in Ba Atoll. That's also in the Northern Atoll. H2O Underwater Restaurant in You and Me by Cocoon Maldives, located in Ra Atoll. There's also in Northern Atoll. Before I move on, I wanted to let you know You and Me by Cocoon Maldives and Hurawali Maldives. Both of these resorts are adult-only resorts where children from, if I remember correctly, 8 or 10 years younger is not accepted. So above that is actually considered and accepted in the resort. So both of these resorts are very good resorts in terms of what do you say, adult focused or honeymoon focused clients, because of course they have the underwater restaurants where they can dine or have a lunch in at least once during their stay, and stuff like that. And then we have Only Blue Under Ocean Restaurant in Obdu Select Lobby Gili, located in Malato. So that resort is actually roughly 10-15 minutes away from the international airport by speedboat. And then we have Sub 6 underwater restaurant in Yama Maldives, located in Dal Atoll, that's in southern Atoll. And then we have M6M minus 6 meters underwater restaurant in the Ocean Life Madhu Resort, located in Mal Atoll again. So that's roughly like 35 40 minutes away from the international airport. And it's a very good luxury, all inclusive resort in the Maldives. And we have the underwater room in two resorts in Maldives, which is first of all is the Muraka residence. Muraka residence is a 3 bedroom residence located in Conrad, Maldives. So two of their rooms is actually over water, and the underwater room is of course located underwater, and all three rooms considered, it's considered as a 3 bedroom residence. So over water you have two rooms with it's actually located over water itself as well. You have two separate baths, you have a gym, you have what is it, common area sitting room, you have a spa room separately in that room itself, and you have a pool also. And then the second room is the Aqua Villa, located in Pullman, Maldives, Mamuta, in the most southern atoll of Maldives. And we have the one and only underwater spa located in Huafinfushi, Maldives, which is located in Mal Atoll. So these are just some very cool pictures of different underwater restaurants in the Maldives. So one very cool thing, as you can see in the picture on the right side, this picture, this is something which we have found quite common, quite commonly done by clients who are coming to the Maldives, who are not yet married. They could be asking, will you marry me? Or it could be a birthday celebration, it could be a surprise, like the wife could be pregnant, and then the father doesn't know, and then announcement could be something like that. So that's also something which is done in the underwater restaurants. Of course there's additional charges incurred, but as you can see, it's a very memorable romantic moment for anyone that's experiencing it. And lastly, I just wanted to cover why Perfect Voyage Maldives is a preferred DMC for the Maldives. What we wanted to highlight is that we are, all of us are 100% Maldivians, and we are Maldives specialists with over 20 plus, years of experience in the Maldives. We have, like I said, as I began earlier, we have worked in the resorts, we have worked ourselves as waiters, as housekeeping attendants, in the operations side, in the sales and marketing side. So we actually have a very clear and good idea how a resort is operated, and what are the ins and what are the outs of a resort. And we don't offer any other destination so far, so we consider it as an advantage as well, because we are focused on Maldives and the inbound holiday to the Maldives as well. And we have direct contracts, better value, and priority access. So we maintain direct agreements with the leading resorts, liveaboards, and of course yacht charters. And unlike any or many of the DMCs or tour operators which you might come across, Perfect Voyage is different because we provide holidays to the resorts. We provide, we are what we like to call ourselves as ocean experience specialists. So we operate liveaboards on our own, and then we provide luxury yacht charters from the very few yachts which are available here in Maldives, within Maldives. So we are able to provide faster confirmations, and then we are able to sometimes, rarely, we have faced cases where sometimes agents have come with a last minute booking, and they want a certain type of room. It could not be available, but we have been able to sometimes manage and then get that room which was not available earlier, just by negotiating, as we have a good relation with the resorts which we work with. And tailor-made matching because every itinerary is built according to the traveler's profile. Of course, a honeymooner will be very different with the family, and a luxury seeker is very, very different from, all the others. A diver is very specific. A surfer is also very specific. They have a certain requirement, certain need. A room could not be that important for a diver, a surfer, but rather, the experience of surfing in a good swell, or in, and for a diver to be able to, able to dive as much or as many as possible is, what sets them aside as a client as well. So ensuring, the guest gets the right item, just not a random deal, is very important when choosing, for a client itself. So local presence is actually a huge advantage which we have. So it's not like anyone else is not able to solve a problem, but us being present here, being locals as well, we are able to, call up the resort even during the night. An issue might occur during any time of the day, during the dinner as well. But most of the time, the general managers, duty managers, they work around the clock, but they are mainly on, on call in the evening. So since we have been working in the industry for a long time, and since we are present here, we have been, in most of the cases, get in touch with the right person, even if it's late night, and then, come up with the solutions if any kind of problems arises with any guests that are booked with us. And of course, transparent advice with no resort bias, comprehensive product portfolio. Like I said, we don't only provide resort holidays to the Maldives, we provide diving, surfing, on live boats which you operate, and then, luxury yacht charters, which actually makes Perfect Voyage a bit unique compared to other DMCs or other operators which could provide Maldives as a destination or as a supplier. We have faster response and agent-friendly support as well. Although we say same-day quote turnaround, normally, within the time difference which we have as well, when it's 6 o'clock in the evening for us, it's like oh sorry, when it's like a morning for you in the US. So if you receive a request even around time between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. for us in the Maldives, we are still able to quote you guys within maybe 30 minutes or an hour maximum, just rather than waiting for the next day. Maximum would be the next day morning for us. So a maximum wait of something like 12 to 14 hours, but mostly within 1 or 2 hours of receiving the email, we are able to give you a quote for the certain resort, or for me, provide options required by you. And also we our sales, we have international travel agencies, exhibitions, B2B partnerships. So we, and of course, one important thing is doing all year around continuous B2B training like this, to be able to train you guys as much as possible, to teach you guys about Maldives as much as possible. And of course, we don't do just standalone destination trainings like this, focus on Maldives as a destination to cover for people who haven't sold or haven't been to Maldives. We do regular trainings. We are partnered with resorts as well. So in the future, we would be doing that as well, and hopefully with the help of Nick, I think I'll be able to let you guys in as well. So yeah, that's basically it. That's what we wanted to cover during the what's this called webinar today.
Awesome. I think we just got a college, university level training on the Maldives. So this was awesome. If anyone has questions, feel free to drop them in. I know I'm just going to make a couple comments because I've already talked to Hussein previously. So Hussein, do you want to just pull up your website and share your screen? And And then also, if you guys want to follow his account on Instagram, that's what I do as well. He does share a lot of cool videos. So, for example, like the seaplane flying in, you can see all of that. They post a lot of information on their stories, so I would definitely recommend follow them on Instagram. I'm going to have him pull up his website because all of their contact info is there. Perfect. So for the website, I did put it, he did just drop it in the chat. So it's perfectvoyage.travel is their website. And their email is on their website as well. Hussein, can you do me a favor? Can you share your screen with just your website? Just so that they can maybe just take a screenshot of it too while we're out here. And I know a lot of you are similar to me. I'm hosted with a host agency, so questions about commissions, sending commission back to a host agency in the US after the trip ends is not a problem. So that's also a reason why I love working with him. So that's very easy to do. There's no problem with that. So just make sure you give them your host agency information if they need to be paid for commission. Commissions also, you guys can do net rates. You can do, you can have them at a set percentage. It's really whatever you want. So that's completely up to you, however you want to do that. I typically add like just like a custom amount depending on how difficult the client is. So, and I think you're, can you do me a favor, Hussein, can you scroll down? I think your social media handle and your email address is on the bottom of that page, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yep. It's actually links.
Oh, okay. If you guys just want to take a screenshot, that's fine. And Hussein, your Instagram handle is it perfectvoyage.travel also?
It's, yeah, let me just quickly check.
So we got a lot of good feedback in the comments. Thank you guys. So
it's actually Perfect Voyage MV, yes. I'll just put it in the comments.
Perfect. Okay. I will share that in the Facebook groups as well when I post the recording when the link processes. So yeah, so the social media handle for Instagram is Perfect Voyage MV, M like Mary, V like Victor. I will share his the handle in the Facebook groups as well when I post the recording, like I said. A lot of great feedback. Thank you guys for this. So Christy said, thank you. This is well done. Love net rates. Yes, that's great. And allows a lot more customization. Does anyone have any questions? I know we covered a lot. This probably now in hindsight would have been like a good, like a two-part presentation, but I wanted you guys to have everything all at once. So you have a recording you can go back to as well. We did have one question about international flights, like say from the US to Mali. And I think that's the only thing you guys don't handle, right?
Sorry, the international flights?
Yes, like say flight from the US to Mali.
Yeah, we actually do not handle the international flights. So anything or everything related to the client once they arrive to the Maldives, to the international airport itself, from that point onwards, everything is actually covered by us. We actually handle everything from there.
Perfect. Does anybody else, I know this went on for quite a while, and I know a few of you guys had to leave. Does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about? I know this was a lot. Trust me, I don't think any of us had any training close to this before this, so this was awesome. If you guys want to, you feel free to drop any questions in the comments in the messages there, or if you want to unmute yourself, you can do that as well. And I'm just checking through the comments here to see if anything came through. Hussein, if you want to just pull up your website again, just as a screen share, and then that way, if anybody, I know a few people have logged off and logged back on, so. And then, and again, Hussein's website is perfectvoyage.travel. And their email is sales@perfectvoyage.travel. And you can see that under the contact us in the bottom right. And again, I will drop his Instagram handle for the DMC account. I would definitely recommend following. And I think I have my phone right in front of me. Hang on, I'm just going to do this right now. I think you did say, I think Hussein, it's Perfect Voyage MB, right?
Yeah, it's Perfect Voyage MV. That's correct. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And I will share that in the Facebook group when I post the recording. There we go. Yes. So make sure you guys give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you guys again for sticking around. This was great. There were a lot of good questions too. I appreciate that. So Hussein, thank you for hanging out with us.
No worries.
I think you're 2 hours behind me, so you're a little bit earlier. But for me, it's almost 11:30 here, so I think it's almost time for bed.
Yeah.
And I'm just making sure we don't have any more questions. Yes. So thank you guys so much. This was awesome. I appreciate you guys sticking around, and hope you guys have a good rest of your night. If you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out to Hussein. He's absolutely happy to provide additional information training. If you guys need help closing sales, he can help you with all this. So please don't be afraid to ask for help. So thank you guys again. And I will again post the recording in the groups and try to email all that out once this is done processing on Google Meet, probably in a few hours tonight. So Hussein, thank you again. And everybody have a good rest of your evening. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for joining.
Good night, guys.
Soon again.
All right. Stop recording.